Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 26 of the Resurrected Winners U podcast. As ever, my name is David and I'm sitting toad miles across from Mr. Alex Aldridge.
120?
120 miles across from Mr. Alex.
Did either of us get to 120?
Oh no, oh yeah, okay, I've just realised what you were doing, yeah. No, we did not. I got quite far though, and I actually think I might still...
I think I will too.
Keep plugging away.
I really recommend the end game stuff. It's the most difficult stuff.
So, in case you didn't notice,
everybody.
Hello everybody. In case you didn't notice, and in case you aren't watching the YouTube video, or you have somehow managed to find yourself listening to this podcast without reading the title of the podcast, today we are going to be talking about all things Mario Galaxy. We've actually delivered today, Alex. We're about to play a game and talk. We've played a game and we're about to talk about a game that we said we'd talk about on the previous podcast.
Only to end the podcast by saying we got the Halo release date completely wrong, and we won't be talking about that one afterwards.
Yeah.
I was so good when we figured that out. Damn it!
It wouldn't be the Winners U podcast if everything was professional and correct.
I know. I think surprises are what makes life fun, so I guess people get the surprise all the time in the form of disappointment. If they were excited about what we've said we're going to do next, then it's in this form of disappointment. Yeah. But either way, you just never know what we're going to do next because we don't know what we're going to do next.
We don't know what we're doing. We don't even know
even
what
when
we're
we
doing.
Think we know, we don't actually do it.
We're just clueless idiots bumbling through life.
Exactly.
I'm interested to. I feel like that is like the David word of podcasting. Interested, because I just feel like it.
Remember when you kept saying intrigued all the time?
Intrigued.
You decided to change it.
Just change it. So I fixed that. Don't say intrigued anymore. I just say interested over and over again. But I think this is going to be a good podcast because I don't think it like. A lot of the maybe not actually, but a lot of the podcasts we've done before, or the games we've done for the podcast before, have either had a sort of story that we can follow and use as a framework for the podcast, or they've had quite a linear structure that again lends itself well to a format for a podcast. I don't know if if Mario Galaxy necessarily fits into this.
Well, it certainly doesn't really have much of a story, but it has more of a story than some people wanted. I guess we'll get on to that.
Yeah, I guess we will. This was an absolute delight of a game.
Which we agreed we needed after Alien Isolation.
Yeah, because I was on my ass. I was ready to climb out that window to my right and end it all. Just be free. Bizarrely though, I don't know if you have, but I definitely have. I've remained fairly on the Alien kick, and I've made it to Prometheus on the six movie Alien Bonanza. So I've seen.
Would
1, 2, 3.
If we weren't playing a game set after the first film, would you have started with those two instead and done it the right way?
In chronological order? Nah, I tend to watch in release order and things like that before. But yeah, that would. I think I would have found it too jarring to go from good special effects to the weirdness of the first few Alien movies. Especially because I think it's around like Alien 2 or 3. It starts messing about with like actual CGI. So they've got the alien, they've got like footage, small bits of footage of the alien like running across a wall, and it's obviously just been CG'd in post and edit, and it looks like I think you and I could do a better job today.
Okay,
given
so
how
it's
far
not,
technology's come.
It's not been George Lucas in the sense that they did it for the Blu-ray release or the DVD release, like after the fact. It was. This is the OG Alien 3 special effects.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm trying to think of an example. It's a bit like Nightmare. Remember that kids' TV show?
Yeah,
it's kind of like that, where it's like,
I wish that still existed.
And like, you know, like, or like early. I wish they'd bring that back alongside Games Master, but yeah, they.
Okay, well, yeah, I was gonna say Games Master is back, but that's why you said that.
What was I going to say? Yeah, it's like my early video games. I used to find it funny when you'd watch the character climb upstairs, because they'd obviously just have the animation, and the animation and the steps didn't intersect in any way, so he was just sort of sliding up the stairs.
It's like somebody had put a mouse cursor and just kind of dragged them upwards slowly, and
it's like
their feet are just going up. Yeah.
So I
that's not necessarily a thing of the past either.
No. That's
I think
true.
Mass Effect Andromeda did some weird shit with that.
Oh,
where they were like,
the less said about that game, the better.
Yeah, that one's never going to be on this podcast, so don't worry.
I'll never be playing that again, ever. But we're here to talk about Mario.
We are. So no, to answer that question, I haven't done anything more with Alien other than wanting to play Alien 3 on the Mega Drive.
That's one of my. I think I've spoken about this before, but it's one of my enduring. The thing I like, apart from obviously chatting to you about things that we like and things that we've played together, like I like falling down a bit of a rabbit hole. So like when we did Sonic, that was like a Sonic month.
Yeah, you
just
did.
Playing lots of different Sonic games. I should have watched the movies. And then we're going to and then we're going to and then obviously the Alien. What other games have we played that have fallen down? I'm sure I've fallen down more holes than those two, than the Alien hole and the Sonic hole. Which one's scarier?
We carried on playing Left 4 Dead a bit. Well, after reading the fan fiction, it's definitely the latter.
Yeah.
Well, we played a bit more Left 4 Dead afterwards because we went into Left 4 Dead 2.
That's true. Yeah.
So that was after that podcast.
We've both like twiddled around in Back 4 Blood.
Yeah. I can't even think what other things we've covered that we would have had a rabbit hole to fall down.
No, I think like Death's Door and stuff, you can't really fall down a Death's Door hole.
Did you ever do the Umbrella run all the way through?
No, I got like halfway through and then just burnt out. Which I kind
exactly the same.
Yeah.
I installed it last night, actually.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm. Too many big games coming out.
I know.
I've reaped the benefits of my Xbox home sharing thing because my friend Ash bought Elden Ring. Thanks, buddy.
Oh, did he? Nice. Oh, you're ready to go then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. When is that coming out? Does that have a release?
That will be on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
It will indeed.
I don't actually know when that comes out because he doesn't tell me because he's already bought it.
If
so
they're doing play tests, it can't be far away because it's been like all over. Yeah, it's been all over Twitch this weekend.
Or like a network test, they call it, isn't it?
Oh, they're testing it like the online features and stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's got like the messages on the floor and stuff still.
Right. Okay.
25th of Feb.
Okay. Well, we've got at least, I don't know, maybe 3, 4 games between them.
At the rate we go, yeah.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I guess so. So I suppose it's time. We'll just dive in, Alex. Straight in the hole. I'll climb out my alien hole for the next hour or so and climb.
Come into the warm arms of Mario.
The Nintendo hole.
So, do you want to just discuss things about the game like we usually do?
Yeah.
Personal feelings, and then we'll go more structured.
A bit more specific. Yeah. This was a delight. Go for it.
One thing I guess we should point out is that we played the 3D All-Stars version of this game.
Do you know if that's a good version?
It's the only good version of one of the 3 games in the box of the 3D All-Stars, because both Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine are at 30 frames per second, and apparently Mario 64 is only 720p, even docked. Okay. So I feel like,
well, given their recent emulation forays into emulation, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite like, Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition shit, but people were obviously not happy about this, alongside the limited time frame you had in which to fucking buy it in the first place.
Yeah.
But Mario Galaxy is the one that's had the least, hate towards it on the package. It's the one that's, they've got it at 1080p. Apparently, it does use some sort of resolution scaling, so the image isn't quite perfect. That's according to Digital Foundry.
I'll be interested. Yeah, okay.
60 FPS.
That's a good point, because I thought, like, obviously, like, Nintendo are famed for having, well, these days they are, they never used to be, but like having like sort of underpowered hardware, but just really wringing every little ounce of, I don't know, like processing power out to have games that just look utterly fantastic. I did, and obviously this game's a bit shown its age now, but there were 1 or 2 occasions when I was playing this, especially in cutscenes, I was like, "Whoa, this is ropey looking."
The cutscenes are definitely not at the same fidelity as the gameplay.
Okay.
They look really washed out, don't they? And lifeless and a bit more pixelated. Very weird.
Yeah,
you do get that a lot when you see, you know, if you play like an emulated version of anything from, like, you know, a PS2 game or a PS1 game. A lot of the time, people don't seem to emulate things like textures of text or the cutscenes or the FMV that's in it. They always seem to be really difficult for people to actually get to improve.
Yeah. I wonder why
you
that
must have seen that when you played Parasite Eve.
Yeah, I would have seen it, but didn't register. I'm quite good at not see it, and I wonder.
We're not really snobs, are we, for that kind of thing?
Nah, it doesn't really tend to bother me as long as it's like a smooth, consistent experience. Like frame rate, like I remember there being a big thing in the day about how Halo was. Everybody's like, Halo's rubbish because it's 30 FPS, whereas Call of Duty is 60. I genuinely don't remember even noticing the difference of it. So, like,
well, I mean, we were starved of 60 FPS being British anyway, because we only ever had 50.
Did we?
Yeah, because all PAL games used to be 50, didn't they?
Oh, did they? Okay. Yeah, so like,
that's why anyone always says if you emulate, don't ever emulate the PAL version. Always go with the US version. Yeah.
So I just don't really have an eye for it, to be honest. Like, so as long as it's a consistent experience, I'm okay. Like I notice it when it starts going up and down, but I think everybody would notice that.
Oh yeah, if you get like an actual drop or whatever, that's for sure. But yeah, I felt like this version played quite nicely. I mean, the fact that you can use the Y button to do the spin attack now instead of the waggling.
Yeah, which I did.
Godsend.
I think I started off waggling, and then at some point,
100%.
I've no idea when, I just stopped.
Yeah.
By the end of the game, I was just using the Y button. The one thing I was going to ask you, is this indicative of the game or is this the port? I don't know if you encountered it, but I encountered sometimes the controls would get confused.
And Mario runs around in a circle?
When he was so like I'd be trying to go over something and he'd just start running around in a circle, and then the way to fix it was to just stop moving and then go back to exactly the way you were pointing your controller before, and it would work fine. Is that in,
or hold what? Yeah, that was, I don't remember that from the original. But it must have been. It can't be like the Switch's stick drift thing. I don't think it was that. It's just a perspective change within the game, isn't it? When you're like, you're upside down. It was always when I was upside down, it would do it to me.
Yeah.
And then he's just going round in a circle. And when you're against the clock, which a lot of the time you are, it was really annoying.
Some of those Shadow Marios don't fuck about.
No, they do not.
Some of them, like, I think
there's one in like a tree level, like the Gold Leaf Galaxy or whatever it was. Yeah. That was the one that he does not fuck about at all. He's doing proper long jumps and all that kind of stuff, and backflips. Backflipping is something that I struggled with as well. The one where you walk one way and then go the other way quickly and press A. I found that hardly ever worked when I wanted it to. He would just sort of do like a really laboured turn instead.
Yeah, I find that, but I don't think I don't think I'm as good at these games as you are. So when I was doing backflip, I was like positioning myself with my back to where I wanted to go, pulling the trigger and then jumping. I wasn't doing
I ended up deciding to do that more because I just couldn't get the other one to work as consistently as I wanted it to. Maybe again that's because you're on a weird plane and none of it's necessarily flat. It's all
something that
gravitational.
I did struggle with from time to time, is the sort of depth perception and perspective when you were jumping. Like there was one bit near the end where I was having to like sort of jump almost semi-blind diagonally onto a tiny little platform that had lava all around it, and I struggled with that. I had a real tough time getting my head around the positioning, because a lot of the world is so like small. The worlds are small and curved. Like it took me I'm not even sure I necessarily even mastered it by the end, to a point that I felt like I could do it without thinking about it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I personally don't think that this experiment of like a 3D plane is necessarily something that I miss. I don't think I'd need to play a game where you're running upside down, all this kind of stuff ever again. It doesn't seem like it's, even though that nothing has really like elaborated on that since it happened in Mario Galaxy, other than the sequel.
Yeah,
it just kind of feel like it didn't really feel necessarily revolutionary at the time. It was more just like a gimmick for this game. That, oh, you're going to go all the way around a sphere. You're going to be upside down or whatever. But as you said, it can be really fiddly, and it is really disorienting to the point where, because nothing else has ever done that again, I don't know if I necessarily really enjoy that part of these games.
Yeah,
I found myself liking the big open levels more.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
The ones where you're just kind of always flat and you just got a bigger level, like a Mario 64 style one.
Yeah, I wonder. So, like, yeah, that's true. No, yeah, I totally agree with that. The other thing I think that sort of, just to sort of round off the negatives, because there aren't actually many for me in this game, is like an absolute masterpiece in my opinion. But the other thing that jumped out for me is they really don't sort of lean very heavily into the mushroom / Mario suits. There's not many of them really.
They are, yeah, and some of them just seem to have a timer on them as well, which is a bit disappointing. But obviously, it's for challenge purposes. But there's only maybe even less than 10 levels that actually need them or use them.
Like, I feel like other 3D Mario games, and even like the latter 2D ones, they lean heavily into the suits in terms of like to create variety in gameplay, where this game just doesn't do that at all. I don't know whether that's a positive or negative, but it just really jumped out to me.
I think it's largely carried by the variation in what you're actually doing with Mario. The obviously the Wii remote would have a lot of things that you would be doing extra on top of it, so I guess they probably lent on that a little bit more than they did suits, because apparently they actually did have to scrap ideas to have Mario not even controlled with an analog stick.
Oh, really?
And they decided that they thought, it's a better idea that we have Mario control properly, like he does in a 3D Mario game.
So were they going to
feel like Mario?
Was it going to be like a point sort of job?
I think so. Yeah, kind of like those Zelda DS ones. Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad they scrapped that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's much better for being able to move this guy about.
Yeah, I don't think it's 100% hit rate on the times when you're doing something with the remote. I like the ones where he's balancing on the ball, or the little when you're on a manta ray in the water. I don't know if I necessarily hate those, but I'm kind of over them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
They weren't that thrilling anymore.
There was a lot less. I think at some point I've confused or just sort of conflated Mario 3D World with the Mario Galaxy games, because there wasn't a lot of I was expecting like a lot of more water races than I encountered. I think there was maybe one world that had them, maybe two.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not even a race; you're just going through rings. Yeah,
and they reused that shark dude quite a lot. I found as well.
Yeah,
that dozy looking shark, and like instead,
Guppy, I think his name is.
Yeah, I just thought, I think I'm remembering is it Mario 3D World, the one with the cats where you ride on the back of this dinosaur?
Yeah,
and you do race them. I was expecting that to pop up somewhere, and it just never did. So obviously, I've just mixed games up here.
Yeah. What else? So do you want to?
So I finished this on 96 stars. So to get to 96, I basically did all the main stars and all the worlds up to the sort of final boss, as well as I think I did most of the comets. I did a couple of the Luigi finds, and then every time I found one of those is it Lumen?
The Luma,
the
hungry
that you could
one.
feed. Yeah, I did that and went and got the star from that world as well. Like I feel like there's what did you say? There's 120. So like I've got 26, no 24 still to get. That's a lot.
Yeah, so it gives you another target number once you go back into the game again on the floor in front of Rosalina. Right. So then you're mostly dealing after that with the hidden stars.
Yeah.
So you'll see it in the as you go into the level, you'll have one with like a little question mark on it, and it will tell you the level that it's in. And then the purple comets that are getting all the coins, and they are very, very tough. There's one of them on the Dreadnought Galaxy where you're having to collect purple coins on an auto-scrolling platform while avoiding all those cannon fire and being upside down. That you've got to time and angle your jump so perfectly whilst being upside down and not getting shot at that it's. Yeah, and if you miss one, that's it. You have to quit and start again. It's they get really tough. So if you want the challenge, that's where it comes in.
It's one thing that I've always really, well, especially the more modern Mario games over the last like 15 years or so, I really appreciate is that it's one thing that Nintendo has always been very, very good at is being inclusive of young kids that are sort of getting their hands on and getting to grips and falling in love with the hobby, and people like us that have been playing for decades. Like Mario really does straddle the gap well in that like a kid can get most of the way through this game and have a fantastic time, but to get all the stars you have to really get to grips with the mechanics, and there's some really hard ones in there. I really like that they do that.
Sometimes it can obviously feel like a bit of a spike where it can just go from an absolute breeze where you're doing I ended the game on 99 lives, which is really annoying because obviously once you've completed the game and you do the Bowser fight, if you go straight back into the game again, you have to start a fresh file, which raises all your lives, which is really annoying.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. It could put you back to 5 lives again.
Oh, I didn't notice that. It must have done that to me as well.
But I remember the most distinct one of those. I think it was Mario 3D Land on the 3DS, where the main game was ridiculously easy, and then you got basically like a second half of the game after you did the first credits, where then everything got actually difficult. Mario 3D World that you were talking about a few minutes ago is another one where it's not necessarily that difficult until you get to like all the like 4 or 5 special worlds afterwards, which become almost impossible.
Yeah,
I think I've ever completed that game because some of them are just maddeningly hard.
That's on the Switch, isn't it? Did I?
Yes.
Is it good today? Because I remember I was a big fan. I think I've said this on this podcast to you before. Actually, like on the 3DS and the Wii, I really enjoyed the new Super Mario Brothers games. And I was like, oh, I'm really in the mood for a 2D Super Mario. So I went and bought the Switch one, but that is like obviously the Wii U one.
Yeah.
And I played it and I was like, this is not a good Mario. But I don't know why. I don't know why I really liked that back in the day, because like this, I am not having fun with this. That doesn't include the Luigi add-on, does it? No, I didn't. If it does, I haven't played the Luigi add-on.
Yeah, because that is fantastic. It's like a proper Mario game off the back of that original one, which was, as you said, just really bland.
Yeah, it just doesn't have much personality to it.
It's exactly how I describe it.
So, do you know? Can you remember? Is 3D World good?
Yes, I've got that on the Switch. It is good.
I may go back to that if I've got I've got a free time. And
I think you'd enjoy it again.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I'll go with that. I'm playing as sort of my podcast game at the moment. I'm playing Forza Horizon.
Me too.
5. So once I'm finished with that, I might go and have a look at Mario 3D World.
I actually experimented with turning all the speech volume all the way down to 0 on that game, but then it doesn't. It's not like you've cut it out.
Yeah, you just got to sit and look at it in silence, do you?
Yeah, because it says in the bottom right hand corner that somebody's talking to you, but you don't know what they're saying. Yeah. So I had to bite the bullet and just accept I'm going to have to listen to them, which is a shame.
I've got a helicopter that seems to be landing on my roof at the moment by the sounds of it, so apologies if that gets picked up on the mic.
Right, so as we all know, or you're going to now know if you forgot, the game was released in Japan on the 1st of November 2007. And on the 16th
is that why we played this for an anniversary? Because that is.
But this is going to come out on it's the 14th the day we record this. The anniversary is the 16th of November for the UK release, which will be 2007 to 21. 14 years? So not quite 15.
I think that's pretty good for us.
Yeah.
One of the ones that we don't mean to do it for an anniversary, we've probably got the closest to even closer to the ones we tried to have an anniversary for.
Well, yeah, we've done an 11-year anniversary this year as well, haven't we? By accident, we did Limbo, so because I can't count. I found out today that in the 2 years straight after this game came out, it was the most pirated video game in the world.
Oh, was it?
Yep. Over 1 million pirated copies in both of those years. Sorry, in each of those years.
I don't know if this is a good pirate experience. Like how?
Well, they certainly haven't done anything to make it unplayable if you've pirated it. Obviously, if it's the most in the world.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking, like, even like collecting the lumens, you got to use. I used Waggle for that, even if I wasn't using it for spinning myself through Stargates and stuff like that.
Was the Wii one of the consoles that was quite easy to hack, though? Is it not that way round? Not like it was pirated on PC.
Oh, so
emulated.
Oh, right. Okay, so they were pirating the game and then playing it on proper hardware.
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Okay,
I feel like the Wii was like the Dreamcast, where you could just like hack it and then you could put CDRs in there or DVDRs in this case, and it would work.
Surprise me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was how it was pirated rather than on PC. Because as you say, playing it with a controller is certainly before this version came out would be impossible. You just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Are you aware of the "You Are Mr. Gay" stuff?
No.
So the logo for Super Mario Galaxy, there are certain letters within that logo that have a sparkly little star on them, and people found that if you just took the letters that would have the sparkle on it, it would be the letters U, the letter R, and then MRGAY, and it was "You Are Mr. Gay," and it became like a whole thing, a whole meme thing.
No,
you remember like in the Disney films where everyone used to think they saw like dicks on the Little Mermaid cover and all that kind of stuff. And apparently, if you look at the Mario Galaxy 2 logo and you read the letters that have got the stars on backwards, it says the letters are YAIMRU. So yeah, I am, are you? So people seem to think that the two Mario Galaxy games are professing their gayness to each other.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen Mario actually kiss the princess, so...
Good point. Closer with his brother than anything.
Yeah.
Which is a whole worse sort of thing, yeah. There's a really weird end to this game. I know we're going to go through it in order at some point, but the end of this I found really funny because it's just like one day it will get sucked into that black hole and they're all just kind of sat on the grass looking at each other. And it was like Bowser, like, oh, Bowser.
Yeah, that's right. You just you just wake up on the grass, shocked to be on the grass, and then they're like, all right, mate.
And Mario's like, a galaxy in the sky.
Someone put Bowser in prison or something. Like, stop him doing this. Yeah. He's causing absolute chaos. And like, you've got to think that millions of toadstools are getting murdered by this boy.
Yeah. And they can't seem to stop him. Like, he falls into lava. He falls into a lava planet. Then he gets sucked into a black hole. And he's just sitting on the grass in the very next scene.
Yeah.
Just in like unstoppable, invulnerable machine. No wonder he always keeps coming back. He's been put in lava so many times. That doesn't work anymore. I don't know why that continues to be the way we defeat him.
Yeah.
He breathes fire for a start. It's like a bath, isn't it? If he's just in some lava.
Come on, Mario.
Yeah. So the story of the game is there.
I hate, and this isn't the only Mario game that does it. I feel like a lot of the modern ones do it. Force you to watch these stupid cutscenes and don't allow you to skip them. Who on this planet cares about Mario lore?
Apparently, some people do. The story basically is that there's a star festival going on. Peach discovers this Luma creature. She invites Mario to come and have a look at it, and then as he arrives, Bowser invades. He steals Peach's and her castle from the foundations with a flying saucer, lifting it into outer space. You get one of those like Kamek, the Magic Coopers. He hits Mario into space. Apparently, in this version, it says, enjoy your ride or something. But in the Chinese version, he says, go to hell, which is quite funny. yeah, he like twats Mario onto this small planet, but because Mario's got the Luma with him, he's able to then utilize the power of space to fly around galaxies and stuff. He then meets up with the space princess, apparently, Rosalina. We end up on her
who just looks
observatory.
Like princess. That's what I find like bafflingly irritating, is that the female characters in these games they all look identical. Some of them have different hair colors. Why do they do that? Because it just confused. Like,
yeah,
which one's
Peach and Daisy is the worst too.
Is Peach and Daisy? Is Daisy Luigi's sort of?
She's been sort of retconned into being his one, yeah, because Daisy was in Mario Land.
Yeah, okay.
On the Game Boy. But yeah, since then she's just kind of been like pinned with Luigi.
Was Daisy? Who's the one with brown hair? Is that Daisy?
That's Daisy, yeah.
Right, okay.
And then Peach is obviously the blonde-haired one. I don't remember why. I did see something about this earlier on, where one of the art designers wanted Rosalina to be bigger than Mario, like be a massive, because she's a big old girl.
Yeah, she's a giant, isn't she?
And in Mario Kart Wii, she's one of the ones that she's like the only female character that can ride like the heavy class.
Oh, is she?
Bikes and cars and stuff. I don't know why they made her such a big old girl, but there we go. Yeah, so Bowser's nicked all these power stars, which means that the Rosalina's observatory cannot function, and we have to basically get them all back to power it up, to go to the center of the universe and beat them up. And the fact that she kept saying, we're going to go find your special one, gave me far too many Jose Marino flashbacks than I really expected.
You're like, no, we don't want him back.
I want to go near him. So the director of this game is called Yoshiaki Koizumi, and he apparently studied film. I don't know if that's at university or what, but he's apparently been on this crusade for a long time to get more story into Zelda and Mario games, and Shigeru Miyamoto has been vehemently against it. He just does not want it. So obviously Koizumi won out this time around, and apparently people like this. Now, when they said in the video I watched that one of the biggest aspects of this was the story, I'm assuming it is mainly just people doing fan art of Rosalina in bikinis. It's the only thing I could think that people would care about.
I've not seen the Rosalina Lady Dimitrescu fan crossover. Maybe that's a mod they could put into Resi 7 or 8, sorry.
Yeah, they could, yeah. He obviously said that he wanted story in this particular game so that people would understand why Mario's up in the stars in the galaxy and what the hell's going on and how he can fly about, which, fair enough. You kind of do need to explain that. Yeah, but, I mean, no one ever explained why he can breathe underwater indefinitely.
No,
so,
but my working understanding of this was, and maybe this is just one game that I've picked this up from, just sort of ran through, but it like Bowser, Princess Peach, like Luigi, and all the sort of characters in the game they're just doing a play with their kids, and like the Koopa kids are obviously Bowser's kids, and then I don't know if the toads, the sort of mainline toadstools are the Mario children. They're just sort of playing dress up.
Where have you heard that? There's
one Mario game that like all the set dressing or the design of the levels look like prop ups, and they're meant to be on a.
It's not Mario 3, is it?
It's Mario 3 because they're on a stage. Yeah, they're on a play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just sort of... Maybe that's that one game, since they seem to change it over and over again, but that was just like my working theory for them all.
I think they've also tried to claim that the Koopa kids are not Bowser's children as well at some point.
Oh, is he like uncle, like DuckTales style?
I don't know, but who's the mum then? Or who is the... whatever. But... So, yeah, Koizumi got the story in this one. Now, Mario Galaxy 2, despite the fact that it's a numbered sequel, is not a continuation of the events in Mario Galaxy 1. It is apparently a retelling of Mario Galaxy 1 without any story in it. Apparently there's an interview in Wired magazine apparently that Miyamoto did, where they asked him why there was no story in Mario Galaxy 2, and his response was, well, I put a stop to that from the beginning this time, and apparently he then fist pumped in the air. He was like, yes, fuck the story. What an absolute boy. But obviously then he's carried that over to stuff like Paper Mario and ruined it. But I see, like, when I was watching that video where they said about that, all the comments in the YouTube video were all like, oh, fuck off Miyamoto with your hating the story. We want more story in Mario.
No,
so it's like me and you are just the only ones, and Miyamoto, the only kindred spirits in this world who
just
don't
want to play the game. Yeah, just let me run about, collect stars. You don't need to justify anything. Just make it fantastical and just let's go have fun.
Yeah, it's just been too long. You can't just put story in there now after 30 odd years.
No.
You either start the game with loads of story in it, like a Ratchet and Clank or whatever, and you go from there, and it can be enjoyable. And then I'd also understand if they try and put more story in a Zelda game, because that kind of needs it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's a sort of an RPG. There needs to be something other than rescue the princess going on there, but not for Mario. Not when you've got bite-sized chunks of a level. Doesn't need to be done.
No, absolutely not.
But that's... Yeah, I guess that would take us onto the galaxies themselves, which we can go through briefly now. So the first galaxy, they're kind of segmented off in areas of the observatory, I guess.
Yeah, and as you get more stars, you can.
Well, it's the grand stars, isn't it, that open up the next.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay.
So after you've done a boss fight, you then unlock the next part of the ship. The first bit we're on is the terrace, and the first level you go to is the Good Egg Galaxy, which has insanely good music.
Oh, so good, so good.
It's effectively a tutorial level, though, really, isn't it? I suppose there's not a lot of challenge. There is a couple of boss fights in there.
Yeah, there's that flower that you've got to smash his tail off his head.
Yeah, the Dino Piranha. That's right. Quite an easy one.
Yeah. Who comes back later on and his tail
much more hard.
His tail catches fire.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a really small window for that to not be on fire.
Yeah.
In that boss fight. That was actually quite tough, whereas this first one is really not a lot.
Yeah,
but it's really just trying to get you how to use the stars that fling you about, being upside down.
Yeah, it sort of ticks all the major sort of gameplay gimmicks and just makes you sort of dabble with each one.
Yeah. And there's another boss fight as well against that. It's called King Caliente, the octopus dude who flings either fireballs or melons. Is that melons, those green things?
Yeah, something like that.
That's not a bad one, that one, I think, where you have to kind of hit the thing back at him.
Yeah, I quite like that, because when he comes back later on in the game, he starts hitting them back at you, which I quite like.
And then you're on platforms that are sinking into lava at the same time. And I think there's also those little stupid flame things chasing you around. So he gets a much more difficult second one. The next galaxy is the Hive Galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
Which is one of the first ones that I was talking about earlier, where it's more of just like feels like more of a traditional Mario.
Yeah. I don't know what your
sandbox.
I don't know what your feeling is, but my favourite Mario is when you're sort of Mario just running, jumping, and it all sort of flows together and is quite quick. And for that reason, I didn't really enjoy the Bee, because I feel like he's quite the bee mushroom, because it's quite slow and plodding.
Yeah,
and a bit
this whole level is slow and plodding, I think.
Yeah, it was fine. I did not have a good time with it, but I think given the choice, it wouldn't be up there for me.
It's interesting that it's kind of placed in that order as well, isn't it? It's almost like they start you off with this hopping between planets being upside down, but then put you straight into something you're more familiar with a lot more chilled out music. As you said, you're flying about in the bee suit kind of slowly. You're climbing up a bee's asshole at one point, which is weird. That giant woman.
You got to scurry about on her. Yeah, that's really
weird. There's another boss in this, which is the Buggaboom boss, which is the one that goes round the tree. It's like a big giant green bug, and you basically just got a bum bash on his back.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Again, he only has one segment in this game. He doesn't come back. One appearance, that's the word I was looking for.
Which is
one appearance in the game.
They like to reuse, they even reused that little gopher that shoots water bubbles at you as well. He's used a few times.
He was, yeah, even like at one point just as part of a normal level.
Yeah.
In the whatever it is, deep dark one or whatever, you just land on the beach and they're like, he's been a knobhead, get rid of him. Yeah, I thought that we'd have the same opinion of the Hive Galaxy, that it's kind of just a little bit fine. Yeah,
visually I quite like it. I like the trees. Like it's a nice sort of friendly area, but gameplay wise, it's I don't, like I say, I don't dislike it, but It's not my favourite.
I think it's when you get to the Gold Leaf Galaxy later on, where it just feels like they've completely copied and pasted this again, but made it autumn.
Yeah.
That I start to get really fed up with the visuals and the music of it. In every sort of, I don't know, cluster of galaxies or whatever, you seem to get these like little. They start off as a question block, don't they? And then they're like a one and done.
One and done. Yeah. What's the one and done for the first area again?
So you've got two of them. There's the Loop-de-Loop Galaxy, which is one of the ones where you're on the back of a manta ray and you've got to steer it with the remote, and you go through like a warp course. They're quite difficult actually. But I think that's purely because of the limitations of the control scheme.
Yeah. No, I like these sort of one and dones. I quite enjoyed them. I like the sort of the variety of sort of getting. There's like a gimmick to the level usually.
Exactly.
Get out, and then they tend not to use it too much again, if ever.
Yeah. The other one in here is the Flip Switch Galaxy, which is where you're on.
Oh, I love the flip switches.
Square.
Yeah,
and you've got to try and make them a certain color by standing on, and if you stand on again, they then revert back.
I'm sorry to jump all over the place, but talking about these sort of one and dones, and the Flip Switch gave me a sort of jog my memory on it. The one I really liked, and actually found it quite tough until I figured out a sort of logical way around it, is it's one of these one and dones that's got like a green, there's those green squares that when you stand on them it vanishes, and then you've got to collect, and on every square it's got those coloured little music notes, and you've got to collect all the music notes.
That's a tough one. I know the one you're talking about. I think that is one of the hungry ones where you feed it some stuff and it flies you over there in one of the levels.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, that was really. I took me quite a few goes to get that right.
I was a big fan of that.
Yeah, very cool, very difficult. Then the end of this one where you get Bowser Jr.'s robot reactor. This is the one where you have to fight that Mega Leg, a big giant kind of spider robot thing. Mm-hmm. We have to sort of get the real Shadow of the Colossus, like climb up its arms, and you get the first introduction to these homing bullet bills. I think in that level where you basically got to make them chase you until they hit
those bullet bills. Bullet bills that homed in on you, for me, swung between really enjoying them and just find them be a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was
again, if you're upside down, they're a ball ache.
Yeah, and then I also found it annoying. There's a bit, one of the levels near the end where you've got to sort of try and weave it through different, like weave it, not quite a maze, but like there's a path where you have to weave it through.
That duck thing, is that what you're talking about?
Maybe.
The one that like flicks you in the air.
Yeah.
Because there's one there where you got to go for a big old maze to get him to follow you.
I know what you mean. But no, I think I did it last night, and I'm trying to remember I won't remember what it's called. Definitely won't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But they can't. Yeah. Sometimes they really just like pan loads of stuff in front of you, so that you're just having to really keep it as close to you as possible. Yeah. But it's more of a frustration because you're going to have to go all the way back and start all over again to get it to chase you.
Yeah.
The next group of galaxies is in the fountain area. And the first one we get is the Space Junk Galaxy. And this is the one that introduces the pull star mechanic, which I don't know if I like or not still, where you basically have to just aim and press at these blue stars.
Yeah. I can't quite decide either. Yeah, they're quite punishing as well. Like if you make it like in later on in the game, if you make a mistake and you're not quick, it'll like just smash you so far back and you'll lose so much progress.
Yeah, I think I had a tendency to hug them too much, to hold the button down, to just kind of give myself like to steady it. But sometimes once you've done that, you won't be able to get your, because sometimes they would have like
you got to use them
the final star, and there's like the thing behind it is what you're trying to get to, and if you go towards it, he doesn't get close enough to it and just drops out of the sky. So I think in that level, or at least at a certain point in that galaxy, is a bit where you're walking along like a floating platform, but it basically materializes as you walk forwards.
Yeah,
kind of like fires the things in at you one by one, which I think is a really cool idea.
Yeah, I like that. I think I'm actually looking at a picture of that one just now, because when you're saying the galaxies, I'm searching them so that I can visualize.
Yeah, good idea.
And I'm looking at that one just now. That was a really cool bit. There's again, sort of to detour, there's something it does later on when it starts using the sort of spotlight technique on the levels, and when the light shines on the level it would appear, and then when it comes off, there's that one's quite. There's like almost like a maze. The maze one there sometimes because it'll be uncovering the level and it's got like 3 ways to go, but only one way is the good way.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed that. That was tough because like often you would notice right at the last minute that you were running out of road and you had to quickly try and fix it without dying. That's
because it's taking away the path behind you, isn't it? So you've got to do like a long jump because you've gone the wrong way before you drop to your death. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. We get 2 more boss fights from this galaxy as well. The first one is Camella, which is the big female Magikoopa, who is really not difficult at all. She fires either fireballs at you or inexplicably fires a green shell at you, which you then use to throw back at her. Just don't use that spell and you will never be defeated.
Yeah, you're absolutely fine. Just don't do that.
Yeah. And the other one is Tarantox, which is like a big spider. He's sitting on his web and you have to attack his weak spots by grabbing hold of these like clumps of spider's web and pulling it back with the remote. Then let go to fire like a catapult style. Yeah. I feel like that was one of the coolest Wii remote style ideas they had in that. It felt one of the more intuitive things to do.
Yeah, it was good.
The next galaxy is the Battle Rock Galaxy, which I think has some of the coolest music in the game. Really like military style pomp music going on there. This one, as David looks for it, is basically exactly what it says on the tin. It's like a big rock with loads of cannons all over it. And this is one of the first ones we get where you have the auto-scroller sections where you're on a platform that's just getting pumped with cannonballs, and you've got the bullet bills after you, and you've got electric fences to try and get out of the way of. For me, this becomes like the standout galaxy of the early game. I would say.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
It's certainly in terms of difficulty, whereas the rest of it seems to be not necessarily all that tough. This one really starts to kind of kick it up a notch.
This is the one where they start introducing things like having to, the electricity bits that spin around. Yeah. I was a big fan of this.
You also have another boss fight here, which is against Top Maniac, which is like the big spinning top when he's got his little spinning mates, and you've got to jump on his head and then hit him into the electric fence that's around like the perimeter of the battle arena.
Those little boys that would sort of hinder your movement cause me no end of bother.
Yeah, especially if you have to jump on top of them, because some of them end up being like a springboard. So they could be really, really annoying, especially if they're mixed in with the red ones that had a spike on top.
Yeah,
and they're all homing in after. Yeah, it can get a bit clusterfucky. This also has the first instance of the garbage dump bit where you've got to blow up those piles of garbage with a bomb.
Oh yeah.
Did you do those ones?
Yeah.
I found them almost impossible because the time limit is so strict that you basically have to get every throw right, because the time will run out if you don't.
Yeah.
Even if you're waiting for the last lot to blow up, it not necessarily will do it. It's even harder later on when you get to the what's it called? The Dreadnought Galaxy, which is basically like the hard version of this anyway. Just drove me nuts, those two.
The ones that was like timing wise I really struggled with is later on in the game there is a planet where there's 3 rabbits and you've got to try and catch them, but to do it you've got to like use your waggle to like melt away the snow to find the buttons to get them out. I had to do that like 3 or 4 times before I got there. Yeah,
because you need to get the first one who's in a hole, right? And then but also you have to be doing the buttons at the same time, so you can get the fire flower to melt a snowman, which has got one of them in, and then you've got to somehow do all of that to get a green shell to get the last one out of a box.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, that was mad. And if you're not waggling the snow out of the way, you're buggered. Especially as you have to catch the rabbits as well in between.
Yeah, that was tough. Tight. Because the first time I did it, I was nowhere near, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is not messing."
Me neither.
I didn't
even know what I was doing.
No.
I was like, I only found one of them.
Yeah,
and I think that was by accident. This has another couple of those sort of one and done bonus levels. The first one is the Rolling Green Galaxy, which is the first instance where we're on a ball and you have to kind of hold the remote like vertically.
That's right.
And sort of just tilt it. I mean, this can be a real. If you lose your way with this, you can get really fucked by it.
I found is that the one can you jump with it while you're on the ball as well? So I found the jumping took me a while to get used to, because I was trying to like just go flying on the ball and just like jump over all these gaps, but it didn't let you. You had to like jump, and then you couldn't just instantly jump again. So I would often find that I'd jump, nail it, and then just go flying off the side. And there's a similar one that I had a bit of bother with later on in the game. That's the same gimmick.
Yeah.
But you're on lava, and the star's in the bottle, and you've got to ride the star on the ball to the end of the lava. That one, I had a few goes at that one as well, because I just wouldn't let myself take the easy route. I was forcing myself to take the hard route.
I found that like after a while, I just wasn't buying that bait anymore, because it's like you're trying to make me go a different way to get an extra life, but I've got like 80 of them. Why would I do this to myself? Just do the level, Alex. I've got 2,000 star bits. Just leave them. The funny thing about those levels with the ball on, I always found, is like, because you have to hold it upright to control it, you're obviously always starting the level with it horizontal. So you start the level where he just flies forward on the ball, and you have to kind of like pull him back by putting the controller in the right place. The other one is called the Hurry Scurry Galaxy, which I think is what we were talking about earlier, where the platforms are disappearing and you're on a big sphere in the sky. And then the boss level of that one is our first battle with Bowser, which I guess is we can then go into here, because I find these to be immensely satisfying fights.
Getting him,
Bowser.
Making
him the best they've ever done.
Making him dive onto the glass that breaks to burn his ass, so that you can then smash him as he's rolling about. And it gets going. You get some speed going as well when you're later on. You've got to hit him a few times. I agree with you. That was really well done. And I never got bored of those fights, because it was is it 3 times I think it appeared that I can think of it appearing. Each one was really good fun.
Because they usually do it when you're on. Jesus. They usually do it when you're on like a see-through planet, so you can see the direction Bowser's spun off after you've twatted him, so you could go the opposite way. I guess that's probably the one time where waggle was probably a better idea than pressing the Y button, because it really would feel like you're just twatting Bowser like a tennis ball. So after we've done that, we're off to the kitchen, and this is the first one where we get the Beach Bowl Galaxy, which is another one kind of similar to Honey Hive for me, where it's just a little bit bland. It's a couple of the stars are like, go swimming and do the swimming test, and all you've got to do is find a gold thing.
My feeling on that.
Right, let's actually go into that, because I know, and listeners will also know, how much David is not a fan of swimming levels in anything. Now, I found that in this one, the addition of holding the green or red shell underwater and going faster mediated that somewhat, but the general swimming still... The camera in this game, actually, we haven't talked about either. It's garbage.
It stinks. Absolutely stinks.
Horrible. So you can get really, like, the worst bits obviously is when you've got something you need to go get, right? And it's in a certain location, and you can't get Mario to get tight enough to make, and he's just basically swimming around it in a circle. You just have to stop and just wait for him to slowly sink on it. So do you agree? I'm sure you're in agreement that the swimming in this game is not great.
It's not great. It's not the worst that's ever been in Mario. No. By far, Mario 64, I think, holds that crown. But it's not good, and you're right. Like, getting a hold of the shell made some of the bits quite fun. Like, I did enjoy the ones where that stupid shark makes you swim through the rings. It's extremely easy, but it's quite satisfying, really, to just get on a shell. And what makes it even better is the sort of spotlight that comes out of the shells, so that you can actually figure out which way you're going. And if you've got to shoot the shells at something, you can make sure that you're doing it correctly. I think it may be a different story. I think that is actually a bigger help than maybe I realised at the time.
They also let you hold the left trigger down, don't they? Just basically slow you to a stop,
yourself
so you
down.
Kind of reposition.
No, I as long as I had a shell, I was quite happy to potter about in the water. But as soon as it took the shell away from me, I was just not having fun. But
one thing I only found out right at the end of doing my notes for this, before we went to pod, is if you watch a lot of people do the swimming sections, you can basically use the Y button constantly.
Oh, can you?
Like there is,
I never did that once.
And he will spin like around in a circle underwater, and people just fly under the through the waves with it. Like they never use the B button to actually paddle. Just hitting that Y button, you go really fast. I've seen people do the races and shit. Don't even touch the shell.
Oh, really?
They're using the spinning thing. Yeah,
and it's fast.
I'll send you a video later.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
There's no cooldown on it like there is when you're outside, where you can't just constantly spin around and round and round. You can just do it as much as you want. What's that?
It's just a monster.
Oh, right. I thought it was like a Smirnoff Ice. I don't know what else is that colour.
No. You do get in-game Apex content with it, which I probably will not be redeeming because I can't be bothered with the effort.
Oh, what?
It'll just be...
So it's a Wraith skin, and I can see why, but...
I think it is skins and like banners and stuff like that, but hey, unless it's yellow, I ain't using it, mate, so... We
talk about Apex on every pod, but this time it wasn't our fault. It's on his fucking drink, alright? What else? Oh, actually, this galaxy does have a separate level. The third star in it is where you go to an underground cavern, and it takes you to that. Well, they call it the Cyclone Stone, and there's a fucking fast enemies bit that comes up as a what do you call it? This special comet thing.
Oh, is there? I'm not.
But you're like in the sky, and you're walking around these like really like thin platforms. And there's all those thwomps dropping down, and there's those other things that go like, the things that sort of turn around. They go like, and there's a hole in one part, and you've got to kind of stand under it.
Oh, yeah. I like that level. That is great. Yeah.
And the one where they've sped them all up is very tough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's one that's if it's not that one, it's very similar to that one where there's a time limit on it as well, which I very much enjoyed.
Yeah. It might be the Toy Time one.
Oh yeah, and the toy world has a sped up version as well of those things going around, and they book it, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. The next galaxy is there's a special galaxy called the Bubble Breeze Galaxy, which is where we see this mechanic where Mario's in a bubble, and you have to kind of move the cursor or the Wii remote around the outside of the bubble and press A to like blow air on it.
Bubble.
Do you remember that?
Nope. I must have done it though.
Definitely would have done.
Bubble.
Now, interestingly, for this one on the Switch, if you play undocked, you are tapping the edge of the bubble on the outside to push it.
Oh, I remember. Oh no, I do. Yeah, I do remember this. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about because I was like, I remember that because this is the level you encounter that. Captain Toad treasure tracker crashed mushroom, and because I said it to you, I keep expecting when am I going to get to do the Captain Toad stuff again, conflating wrong games because I really
that's in 3D World, which is why I will enjoy that if you play.
I really need to get that, and I really enjoyed Captain Toad as well.
Yeah, I know, and you got me onto that game because I wasn't really that interested, but it's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do a little quick tangent while we're talking about this. To how often did you play this undocked at all?
Well, not really.
Just always with the remote on the TV.
Usually with the remote on the TV. I think I maybe got about 4 or 5 stars in total on docked, and that was purely so that I could test it. And also I was like, I think the first night we started playing it, I took it to bed to do a few stars, and I did it there. It's perfectly playable. It's fine. It's not my favorite way to play.
So, I mean, I made the mistake of doing some of these like bonus things.
Oh, did you?
So, for example, the one where you're on the ball or you're in the races on top of that manta ray, you tilt the whole Switch.
Oh, no.
So you can't see how you're playing because you're tilting the screen away from yourself. And for this Bubble Breeze one, like I say, instead of moving the cursor with the remote, you're just tapping the edge of the bubble. That does actually make it quite easy. Yeah. It's the same with the blue pool stars. You just tap them and it'll go towards them. But, I definitely wouldn't recommend.
It's also easy to collect lumens as well, I found. I
hated that.
Just rubbing the screen.
Yeah, if I had 3 hands, that'd be amazing. Yeah. Or a really dexterous toe, but no.
Is that how the multiplayer works? Someone does the lumen pointer?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Well, that is a very, participation trophy way of playing it, isn't it? Get your little,
it's almost
your stupid 2-year-old.
Insulting.
Yeah. What do they do in Odyssey? In Odyssey, don't they do it where one of you's the cap? Because my niece and nephew have played Odyssey together, and one of you's Mario, and the other one's spinning the cap.
I still maintain that's the only game where the only mainline Mario game where you actually don't play as Mario.
Good point.
You must play as the cap, which makes me think
being dragged around. By a thing on his
is
head.
He being possessed, or because at the start of that game Mario gets absolutely launched into what looks like the afterworld by he gets booted off the ship at the beginning. Is this does Mario die in that game? And you're just using his reanimated corpse?
But it must be. He's just like a husk, isn't he? Yeah. He's just one of Cappy's many victims.
Secretly the most brutal Mario game ever.
Yeah,
they instantly murder the central character at the beginning, and then they just have a corpse being reanimated throughout the rest of the game.
Disgusting. They should be ashamed of themselves. There's kids playing this, for fuck's sake. The last one in here is the Ghostly Galaxy, which I think is really cool. You've got a lot of variation in this one. You start off with you're going through a haunted mansion. You're walking up the walls and on the ceilings. You get to turn into Boo Mario for the first time.
Did you like that? Again, sorry, I keep derailing you off onto different tangents, but when you get to be the Boo Mario later, it's towards the end of the game, and you've got to race the other Boo with a helmet on. He's got a race helmet on. You've got to race him. Really enjoyed that level as well, because you've got to really quickly switch between being Boo, being invisible and stuff like that, because I've got those weird ghost walls that you've got to move between, and then you're getting flung about by fans, because apparently
if you don't hit those fans, you've got no chance. I think I didn't do it the first time. I kept missing those big coins. But if you get the fans, you annihilate the bastards.
Oh, absolutely did them in, because it was I can't remember, but the time limit's something like 2 minutes or something like that, and I finished it in under a minute. It was like 40 seconds or something like that. I was like, oh well, you've not beat me, mate.
Yeah, because I think that one is the one where the time limit's a minute, and I did it in like a minute and one, but I lost. But if you do it the proper way, you do it in like 30 seconds. Yeah, he's long gone.
Absolutely no hope.
I also found it really weird that in the one where you go rescue Luigi, he gives you the star when you've saved him.
Yeah.
And then you grab the star and you exit the level. But he has the star. So why doesn't he use that to exit the level? How are you stuck when you have the exit method under your shirt? No wonder there's no games about you fucking idiot. Just there's not even any attempt to say, right, I've got you, let's walk back out the front door. No. Let's just touch the start and we'll go back to the thing. But you've had that.
And Luigi watches him do it multiple times, still gets stuck and lost.
Yeah. What I do find quite sweet though is when you're on the observatory, and if you do a spin, Luigi does the spin as well.
Oh, does he?
He copies you, yeah.
It's basically your idiot brother.
Yeah, I can do that too, Mario.
Get off into your mansion.
Yeah. Well, that's where he was. And again, why are you stuck? Where's your vacuum and all that shit? Useless. The Ghost Galaxy has the fight with Bouldergeist, which is one of my favourites in the whole game. I think it's an excellent boss fight where you've got that big rock dude with these two hands that you're trying to punch.
Yeah, that is excellent. Really excellent.
How tough is the one hit version?
Oh yeah, I love that. I think that's maybe my favourite boss battle in the game. Now that you've reminded me about that, when you can only do it if you get you can't even get hit once, and it wipes you out. Yeah, that was really really fun.
Because the tough part of this is you've got to attack him or damage him by swinging bomb boos around. And there's always two of them, and you'll always accidentally hit one, or you'll hit his hand by mistake, or one of the rocks that come out of the floor. Yeah, it gets so tense when you've only got one life to do it as well. The funny thing is I think most of the time, when you're doing a boss fight, you probably do quite a lot of them without getting touched. Yeah. But when you've only got one health, it becomes so much more tense that you just die anyway. That you never would have done if you had all three. The next area we're on is the bedroom, and that has Gusty Garden Galaxy, which is a very strong contender for the best music in the game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Especially because it suits the level the best, because it has a real kind of speed to it that makes you.
I don't know if this will DMCA us. Oh, I've frozen the thing, but I think
not enough people are watching to even fucking care.
Gusty Garden Galaxy.
Yeah.
music.
It takes a long time to kind of get to the crescendo part of it, but I think it just really perfectly suits when you're like swinging about on dandelions through the breeze and giant apples with caterpillars and stuff. You get another. Go on.
I think that'll be getting picked up on the video.
Oh, will it? Okay, I can obviously add this to the pod version. It'll probably be the end theme anyway. There's a level where you've got some more gravity stuff going on, where you've got like a load of vertical blocks that are kind of spinning around. And you've got to kind of walk all the way up along the side of it. That's quite a cool level. And we get a boss fight in this world with Major Burrows, who's the mole that's under the ground. You've got to do a bash to get him. Yeah, and then he gets faster, but not necessarily too difficult. He's another one that has a one-shot version, which again probably killed me a few times because I was panicking.
I'd like to know how Mario gets such power from his bum bash, because if I tried a bum bash, I don't
think it's going to shatter things under the ground so that they have to fly out from it. No.
How is that boy not smashed its back up as well when his bum bashing?
Exactly, yeah. His lower spine must be completely crippled.
Exactly. He's not a young man either. He's got to be having a bit like aches and pains. What is he? He looks like he's in his 40s, but I've got absolutely no idea how old he is.
Yeah, he's also banging his head on the underside of blocks all the time.
Yeah.
Smashing bricks with his head. Fucking absolute meathead. He's a right old hard nut. What else? What's the next one? Freeze Flame Galaxy. Yeah. One of my favourites, this one. I love the fucking ice skating in this game.
Oh, so good, isn't it?
You can hook that shit to my veins.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
I think this is the one where you have a race with that Cosmic Mario as well, when you're both skating around. Yep. That's great.
Is it the hidden star in this game where you've got to use the like Freezy Boy mushroom, and it's really hard as well. You've got to go sort of off the side and then up. And then it's like almost when your mushroom timer's running out that you've actually got to use it to jump on these water platforms to get yourself up.
That's this level, I think.
Is that?
Maybe. Because the boss fight, when you do that Baron von Burr, the real sort of challenge of that boss fight is to get to him rather than to actually fight him. Because to fight him, you just spin at him, make him go to that small thing and give him a kick. And the only thing he really does in retaliation is try and blow you back off the platform. So you've got to come all the way back with the ice flower, otherwise you get hurt by the cold water. There's one where there's a secret star where you've got to like do the wall jump up some waterfalls. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Did you get that one?
Yeah, I like that one.
Wicked.
That was really good. That's another pleasantly tough one I found. Because I kept getting to the very top and then not having enough time to do the last bit. Yeah,
it seems like at first it seems harsh that they're kind of giving you a time limit on the fire flower and stuff, but it definitely adds to the challenge in a useful way, rather than just letting you do it constantly.
Yeah.
This one kind of splits because it starts off in the ice world. Again, it's another one of them sort of traditional Mario. It feels like a lot like a Mario 64 level. This, but then you get to like the middle one's like a temple where you're in a little bit like a maze and you're using the fire flower to light loads of candles to open your way through.
That's right.
And then the final part is when you scale this giant mountain, which, so lots of tricky platforming, lots of using the ice flower to jump on those like drain pipes or whatever. They've got water coming out. That's one of my favourites.
Another really cool gimmick as well. Sort of you been able to make your own platforms.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the next game, isn't it, where they get the Cloud Mario, where you can make cloud platforms.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to play Mario Galaxy 2 now, but
me too. It's a shame it's not on the fucking All Stars.
Yeah,
page.
I just don't have access to it now. I don't think.
I can get you access to it, don't you worry.
Oh yeah,
pick you up. Dusty Dune Galaxy. I don't know how about you, but sand levels in Mario games are one of my least favourites.
Yeah, especially because they invariably have the sinking into the sand bits that I just can't be doing with those.
Yeah. It's that and the fire ones that piss me off, where he jumps up with his arse on fire.
And he's uncontrollable. Yeah, he's uncontrollable with his fiery arse.
I can relate to that, I suppose.
Yeah.
There's actually, I went back and looked at videos of people playing these when I was writing my notes, because I didn't really take my notes till way too late. And I remember thinking that this sand level was really shite and boring, but the stars are actually not that bad.
Some of them are
You've got the tornadoes going around where if you spin while in a tornado, Mario then turns his arms into some kind of helicopter.
Yeah.
Don't know how he's doing that.
He does that in Mario 64 on the sand level as well. There's these spinny things. In fact, he does it even in the 2D ones.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's just
because I remember that because he goes, doesn't he, in the 64, and he spins around on them little plant things, isn't it? Little flowers.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But this one actually has quite a lot of 2D stuff going on it. You've got a lot of vertical climbing up of pyramid stuff and a lot of 2D sections where it's just straight up flat old school Mario gaming. So I thought I didn't like it, but actually Dusty Dune Galaxy is not as bad as I thought it was.
No, it's okay. I don't think it particularly jumps out at me.
No, exactly. Probably because you just look at it and go, oh, sand level, yeah, that was shit, as I did. The boss level for this one is Bowser's Dark Matter Plant, and for me is probably one of the best levels in the game, if not the best.
I'm going to have to remind myself of this. I'll know exactly what it is. It's when I see it.
It's the one where you basically, there are several sections in the level where you have what looks like a Tetris piece as a platform moving through a level whilst all these arrows are going in different directions to change the polarity.
To move, I quite like the polarity stuff.
Really clever, I think. That's one of the cleverest.
I also liked
the whole thing.
When it did it from I wasn't such a fan of running round the outside of the inside of a tiny ball, but I liked it when it messed with the perspective, so you could either hit the arrows to change what wall you were on,
I know what you mean.
or run up a ramp that then changed, and then it changed both the perspective of the game and it allowed them to use the environments in interesting ways, I think. Yeah.
There's a secret star, I think it's on the beach level where you go to this little box. It's called Boo in a Box. Have you done that one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's where you have to keep hitting like a green arrow and then it turns it round, it turns it round.
And you eventually
get Boo's trying to follow him.
Yeah, and there's like a window eventually at the end. Is that right?
And you get him in the light.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I think I did that one last night, actually.
Yeah, that's one of the last ones I did because it's a secret star and I didn't really do them at the time. I was trying to go back and sort of mop them all up. The next part of the game is the engine room, which is the second to last main galaxy, I guess. They say that the garden is a secret when you actually get out front of it, so I think this is supposed to be the last one that you do because then you have enough stars to go fight Bowser.
Oh, that's right, because then the little... That was it. Rosalina starts talking about trust and stuff, and your little boy's going to go and be a star one day, and he's like, she must really trust you. If you go and collect these stars for me, I'll trust you." So it's like that's not really how you create trust, mate. But whatever.
No. So this is the first one of this is the Gold Leaf Galaxy that we've already discussed, where it's just looks almost exactly like the Honey Hive one. This is the one where you fight the mole in this little cannon thing. Yeah. you don't really get hurt in that. It's
just annoying.
You have to be a bee, don't you, to get on his head? But if he hits you with the water, you turn back into normal. So, yeah. Sea Slide Galaxy, one of the worst ones, I think. It's the one where it's basically just it's just a circle of water around.
Yeah. Okay. Is that the one where you get like a little tube of water that goes into like a middle section?
Yes. Right, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. There's a race where you got to race some penguins. There's another one of the ring ones with that guppy guy you were talking about. But the worst one is the finding the silver stars, which to me is an absolute pace killer.
Oh, yeah.
Like actually just scouring a level trying to find the silver things, especially if you fuck up, because there's no checkpoint in any of the level. So the checkpointing for most of this game, I think, is pretty good.
Yeah.
So if you're on an actual linear level and you fuck up near the end, it will have checkpointed you without you realizing. But when you're just collecting silver stars, if you fall off or balls it up or something, you've got to do the whole thing again. So yeah, not a fan of that galaxy. Toy Time Galaxy, however, is one of my favourites. Now, I expected you to say the same, but you are not a fan in any way of the Spring Mario.
Yeah, that is the actual Toy Time Galaxy. It has some really cool moments. The Spring Mario is the first time I encountered him, and I was just like, I hate you. Like, it's not fun to move around. It's not fun to jump. I feel like it doesn't always work in the way you want it to work.
I was wondering if that's because sometimes he's stuck on his head.
I was wondering that for a while.
You can't spring high if he's not on his feet.
Yeah, it wasn't fun, and no. So
it's a shame because that's the cake one, isn't it? Where you're going in and about, for some reason in the toy land, you're jumping around on a cake.
Yeah,
like jumping over forks and stuff.
Yeah,
which is a really cool idea that some mad bloke at Nintendo just came up with, probably on his lunch break or whatever.
That's also
I like the first one.
It's that world where it's got the really fast time limit blocks where the block boys are moving really quickly, and then there's it's like the discs with the sharp. They almost look like microchips with spikes around the side.
Yeah.
Absolutely flying back and forth.
I think I wrote there that I called, what did I call? Running around on blocks trying not to get crushed by thwomp stars. That's what that one is. The first one's cool. You got to climb up that toy robot again, like Shadow of the Colossus style. That's a cool first one. Music, obviously, really cool because it's like a remix of the original 8-bit Mario theme. Enjoy that. I'm
going to put that on basically just now. What's it called again?
Toy Time Galaxy.
Toy Time Galaxy. Let's get you on. Well, Alex is.
The next one we would go to is the garden, but before we get there, you're kind of going right up to the top of this spire on this observatory of Rosalina's. You get a little segue into the gate, which is where you get the flying red star that allows you to fly about like Mario 64, but it doesn't handle anywhere near as badly as Mario 64 did. And then you get them in the observatory after you've done that star, so you can just fly about to all the higher up bits, which is pretty useful. And then we're into the garden, which they call, as I said, they call it a secret, which I'm not necessarily in it. I don't know why they call it that.
Yeah.
The first sort of one and done things they've got in this is the Matter Splatter Galaxy, which is similar to what you were talking about earlier, where it's got like the little bits of like matter that just sort of bouncing around, making platforms in front of you. Yeah, it sort of shifts in and out of existence as a really cool level.
Absolutely. There is one of those. There is that Spring Mario boy at the end.
Yeah. And then it just becomes really annoying.
I actually I didn't mind the Spring Mario where you're going up stuff like that, as long as I was inexplicably doing a period where the spring seemed to be working for me. They were okay. It was when it wanted me to be like sort of move back and forth, avoid enemies, and it wasn't doing what I asked it to do.
Well, yeah, you can't get any precision with it, can you? Because you're either just nudging it really slightly and he'll just stay in one spot, or you tap it and he'll do like a full somersault and go miles away. Yeah, that's a total ball ache. The Deep Dark Galaxy is a really weird mix of like it starts off on a beach, and then you've got to fire yourself onto a distant planet to get the fire flower. That's the one where you hit an invincibility thing on the way there.
That's right.
You kill all those octopus dudes, come back, open the gate, and then you're up into a whole new part of the level.
Yep.
That galaxy also has probably the maddest star in the whole game, where you have to like do the bum bash on those fucking tennis balls to hit them into a watermelon.
Oh yeah, and the watermelon gets bigger. Yeah, that's right.
But I couldn't figure that out at first, and all I've got is a toad off in the distance going, "There's some tennis balls there. Hit them into the watermelon." I'm like, "The fuck are you talking about? Just nonsense." And then realise that they're all underneath me in that see-through thing I'm stood on. But I don't know how they came up with that shit. That is madness. You get another Camella fight in this one as well. This time you're on a ghost ship, I think.
Yeah.
But she still fires the green shell at you all the time. She's got a couple of mates. You got to climb up a mast and get to the
the first time I did that, she disappeared up the mast, and I was like, "Where the fuck is she?" Like, I didn't know where she had gone.
Yeah.
And I just sort of wandered.
She sometimes gets like right up next to you when she materializes again as well. She'll like spin, just be right in his face. Oh god, the Melty Molten Galaxy is probably one of my least favourites in the whole game.
I was having that was when at the beginning of the podcast where we spoke about me having trouble with the depth perception. Why am I struggling with perception and jumping about? I really struggled with that for a while.
Yeah, because there's a daredevil run in that one, isn't there? Yeah. Where you basically have to do the whole level without getting hit.
Yep, that was it. That was the one.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the hardest levels in the game because there's just, no checkpoint in there. No, you start all over again.
It was very satisfying when I finished that one.
Yeah. The second to last Galaxy is the Dreadnought one, which we've briefly spoken about anyway, which is another one where it's got that really sort of military style music. You've got to kind of infiltrate the Dreadnought, and you've got another. This is another one where you've got an auto scroller with loads of cannonballs flying at you. I really like those ones. But it also has another one of the garbage disposal with bombs ones, which I hate because they're so hard. That is the one where I said it had a really hard purple coin star, which is, I think, the hardest star in the whole game, and I have not finished it. I basically started doing this podcast, and my Switch is in turned off mode, having me just died trying to do this star. So I will be going straight back to it at some point, but it's going to cause me end of boring.
I unlocked the sort of purple star thing, and then I did one. I think I've only done one in the first sort of world area, and I haven't continued. Yeah, I think it's in maybe even the first level potentially. And then the last level is Bowser's Galaxy Reactor, where the level itself, I find it's just like an onslaught, isn't it? You just have to run towards bullet bills that come flying out at you. A big massive one, all the little homing ones all across these little platforms that dip into lava. And then we get into the last Bowser fight of the game, which is just, there's several stages of it, isn't there, of fighting Bowser on several different planets. We've already spoken about how you fight him, but basically Mario then, like I said, he twats him straight into a lava planet, and then Bowser gets sucked into a black hole, and then Mario looks like he's going to get sucked into a black hole, but loads of Lumas just decide to fly into it, and we all get sent to a new galaxy. Mario is the one where, when you're going to the last level, he's wearing a white suit on the moon. That's Odyssey. And is it Odyssey where it finishes with that J-pop, K-pop music? Yes! Yeah, that's excellent. I think that's my favourite Bowser fight anyway, because I love the white suit. I love the sort of way they play with the physics on the moon. I just like the sort of the set piece that they create, where he's sort of turning up to a wedding, and then at the end it just goes absolutely nuts. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, like proper full-on like J-rock style ending. That's great. So good. Lyrics and everything. Yeah, I forgot about that. It's that's definitely better than this. It's just so mad. It's unexpected as well. Like, I'm gonna have to watch very a video after this. That. Yeah, me too. They did that a couple of times though, because that Donkey Kong level as well had some like singing music in it as well. You know, who is it? Is it? It's not Rosalina. It's Daisy. She's like mayor of New Donk City, and then at the end there's a festival. The song, and at the end there's a festival, and it like switches in and out between like modern Mario and old 2D Mario, and that weird song's playing as well. That's a cool game, Odyssey. It is. I lent that to my nephew. I've never gotten it back. Unsurprising. Yeah. But yeah, they. So from what I read on Wikipedia, basically the universe gets recreated entirely because we're in a singularity that explodes into a supernova. And then when it's recreated, we're back in the Mushroom Kingdom. And that's when they're all sitting on the grass, just looking at Bowser like, "Oh, you." And then Mario looks in the sky and goes, "Welcome on the galaxy!" And then that's it. Game ends. And then you move on to the whole end game where you do all the purple coin challenges. You then do the entire game again as Luigi, who of course is more skiddy. And then you get a picture. A still picture. Oh, do you? Well done. I remember I did that while I was at uni on my Wii. I don't know what I expected. Unlock Yoshi or something. Well, yeah, it's also Nintendo. They're never gonna. They're not gonna be nice to you. You're lucky it just wasn't. They didn't like post you a Polaroid of a Yoshi Joby or something like that. Good point. Yeah, but I suppose at that point they have already given me a bunch of new levels and things to do. But then, you go through the entire game again with Luigi this time, and you get nothing out of it other than you played as Luigi, who's kind of the same as Mario anyway. And that's that. That's the end of the game. I think overall, what would this go in the winners you scale? I think it's got to be 9. Yeah, I'm thinking 8, 5, 9 for me, because I think I'm trying to remember. I feel like Mario Galaxy 2 is better. Is it? I always felt like I enjoyed Mario Galaxy 2 more as well. And and after speaking about it, I think I prefer Odyssey as well.
I'd need to play Galaxy 2 first before I make that decision, because Galaxy 2's obviously got Yoshi in it as well.
I would need to actually play these games again to remind myself. I'm sort of just trying to pluck it from a hazy memory, but
Odyssey was great. I just found like Odyssey sometimes was just so easy.
I guess that's,
some of them was just like, fine, just go here and here's the star. Well done, you got it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I might go mess around with that today, actually. Yeah, maybe.
Interesting.
After I've had my dinner, boot up the old Odyssey and see what stars I've got, because I definitely wouldn't have them all.
Oh, I got them all. Of course I did. That's why I let my nephew borrow it. I was like, I've done it, don't need it anymore. And now I've kind of like got a hankering to have another go at it again.
I was going to say maybe it'll be on sale, but it's Nintendo. Definitely won't be. Still be full price.
I'm not. He's not keeping it. What the talk? Silly talk. I'll be picking that back up at Christmas time, I think.
Just go steal it off him while he's playing.
I'll be buying him Pokemon for Christmas, so he'll be playing that anyway.
Excellent. Good choice.
Brilliant Diamond or whatever it is that he's probably doesn't even know exists.
I hope one day
video game websites.
Yeah, I hope one day we can get into a Pokemon game, because I've always loved the idea of getting deep into a Pokemon game with someone at the same time. We tried it with the 3DS and it never quite stuck.
Yeah, because he always asks me, right, every time I go visit my nephew, he's like, "Who's your favourite Pokemon?" And I'm like, I can't remember. He's like, "But non-legendary." So I don't know, Gengar.
What's a legendary Pokemon?
Like Mewtwo or something, or like the ones that, like the bird ones, you know, from the first game.
Oh right, okay. It's Squirtle, because he would definitely be mine.
Nah, he's not. He's not legendary. He's just
not
a
legend.
Starter.
He's just a starter.
Nah. But he's always like, what did he say to me last time? Do you actually know any Pokemon that aren't from the Kanto region? And I was like, I don't even. If by that you mean, do I know any Pokemon that aren't from the first game on the Game Boy from 1999? Then no. I played, and I said to him, like, I've played whatever one that me and you tried, X and Y, I think that was. But I never finished that. What was the
black and white? Was that one?
That was the DS, that one.
No,
I had that briefly as well and gave up. I have played Ruby or Sapphire, Omega Ruby, I think. But that's mainly the same sort of Pokemon. But yeah. And then he goes to me, oh, you need to get yourself a Pokedex. Do I?
You do.
Because he's like, you should buy a book like mine, but my one's only got up to the Aloha region. You need to get the one from the new game. Get a Pokedex, that one.
Get yourself a Pokedex.
If you'll allow me to talk to you about this, fine.
And memorise all the Pokemon.
Which they have done, the two of them. They're insane. He knows everything.
Get him to show
you a picture. He's never played more than one game.
Get him to show you Trubbish, because that's the most hilarious Pokemon ever.
I should say that, yeah. Or the ice cream one.
Yeah.
Who the fuck was doing that?
Mr. Mime is genuinely
terrifying this year, lads. I got a bin bag Pokemon. Yeah, all right, cool. What else? Ice cream. Yeah. What else? House keys. Yeah, fucking do it. We'll make a Pokemon out of house keys. The kids love it though. The kids love it. And didn't the most recent one, because it was set in Britain, didn't that have like a fucking cup of tea Pokemon as well?
Oh, that sounds about right.
That's racist. But what a good time. Now we need to figure out what the fuck we're going to do next.
I've been trying to figure out. So we've got roughly a month, do we, till Halo? Next up, we are going to be playing Final Station. And
the Final Station.
Final Station, which is a cool little... It's an indie 2D pixely thing, isn't it? About sort of a post-apocalyptic or a... What do you call it? It's not pre-apocalyptic and it's not post. The apocalypse is sort of unfolding.
Yeah, it's mid-apocalypse.
Yeah, mid-apocalypse. Yep, that. We're going to play that for the next podcast.
Yeah, David's been a big fan of this one for a number of years.
It's just such a cool
played it
game.
For lots of time.
Yeah,
right?
It's just a cool, fun game that it came at the time before pixelated graphics jumped the shark at me, ended up hating their guts, and it's just really, really atmospheric, and I just find the story quite intriguing, and yeah, I just think it's a great little game, really cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
And then I guess we do have Halo coming up, but we've got other couple games on the slate before that, but we'll let you know when we get there, I guess.
Yes, we will tell you when they're coming.
So I guess that brings us to, no, we've got some housekeeping to do, Alex. You've got some news that we need to be putting out to the lovely listeners and viewers.
Oh yeah, because it did briefly show up on our Twitter page. But yes, I have taken on a little side gig doing some writing for a real physical retro Sega magazine called Sega Mania.
Yes.
Issue 3 of that. They're currently doing it based on a year every time. So the current issue that's about to come out is issue 3 and focuses on the year 1992. I only joined like right near the end of the production of this one, so my pieces are very short. There's one on the Mega CD. That's its launch in Japan, and really not a lot else. I played a stupid Christmas game called Days Before Christmas where you play Santa Claus.
Oh, I really want to get a Christmas game on our docket as well. See if we can find...
That's the only one I can really... Well, other than... Well, no, because Christmas Nights into Dreams is
the only one, like, yeah, like I was trying to think, because I was out walking the dog thinking, is there any good Christmas games coming up? And I couldn't
well, when you see people talk about them in like lists and stuff, there really aren't any that are actually Christmas. There's like, Batman Returns on the Mega Drive is Christmas.
There must be a Home Alone game somewhere.
Oh, there is, but it's fucking terrible. I've got that. Hang on a minute.
Yes.
See, I remember being so disappointed in this. So I don't know if that's going to be the game you're going to want to.
The Division,
but we can try.
A Christmas game for you.
Yeah, see, this is it. This is the kind of thing I keep seeing. Yeah, stuff like that comes up, like Die Hard trilogy. But we're not playing. Definitely not playing that.
Yeah, sorry. So yes, you've got a couple pieces in this upcoming magazine. I did actually get an email from them while we were podcasting. Because
I write for them, but I still subscribe, so I've already paid for a load of them. But yeah, it's Sega-Mania.com. If you go check that out, they post worldwide. The guy who's putting it all together is working his ass off to get stuff sorted out. It looks really nice when you see the layouts that he's managed to pull together. It's definitely worth a $5, maybe £5.
Yeah, it's not expensive.
Bad. There's digital versions if you don't want to pay as much. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun sort of knowing that I'm going to be published in an actual magazine that people can buy and have in their house. It's mental to think that.
Yeah, I've been loving it.
Everything else I do just gets buried on a website. So just no one ever cares.
Yeah.
But they kind of have to care now.
Yes, it's something that's going to exist forever. Is there anything else you're working on for GoombaStomp or anything?
No.
I think I
can't fit any more in.
I'm doing Battlefield 2042 for GoombaStomp. So,
are you?
Yeah.
Hey, you managed to get some stuff.
I thought about it because I was looking at the other website. I was like, I really need to start engaging with these lot rather than just sort of ignoring them all the time. So, yeah, I'm doing that game. So look out for that review coming on.
This is for GoombaStomp.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's that. I guess that's all I'm working on really. In this podcast.
2042, you got a big one. Just busting in there.
Busting straight back in.
Get the AAAs out.
Yeah, so there's that. And like I said,
see what you think of that.
Like I said, I've got a new job, so I'm hoping this new job is going to allow me a bit more free time because by the looks of it, the contract appears to be permanent home working. So
beautiful. What a life.
With flexi time as well, so I'll be able to start early and finish early. Which means, what I'm hoping that means I can just I was talking to Annie last night about it, allow me to just pursue passion projects that I've been neglecting over the last 4 years because of my job. Basically, by the time I get to the end of the workday, the last thing I want to do is think about doing more work. So, especially
work sat at a computer typing stuff, right?
Yeah, so
it's the worst thing to carry on doing.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that this will give me sort of a bit of drive back to start messing about with stuff like that again, because Alex, I was saying to Annie again last night, the great thing about Alex getting himself into this magazine is it's sort of giving me a bit of an impetus again, saying like, we're not too old, we can do this, we can still exist in the games industry. So yeah, let's give it a go. Let's try and get my enthusiasm back for this.
Yeah, we've still got goals for ourselves, I guess, at some point as well. Exactly. I'd like to probably do something. I've always wanted to write a book with you, so
exactly.
I'm never gonna give up on that idea. Just need to figure out what about.
Yeah, totally. So get yourself subscribed to that magazine. I very much enjoyed issue 2, so looking forward to 3 coming out. And keep your eye out on GoombaStomp for Battlefield review coming up.
Yeah.
At some point in the near future. And I think that brings us to the end. Follow me on Twitter at DavidSmiley1. Follow Alex is Lalix Baldridge.
Oh, it's not anymore. No, I've changed it to Boomer Shooter now.
Boomer Shooter now.
but all the O's are zeros.
Excellent. And yeah, at A Winner's You Pod is the pod if you want to find out about anything of note going on in our lives, or when the new podcasts are up. Check out A Winner's You podcast on YouTube, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I didn't send you the audio for the alien video, did I? Because I keep forgetting. Did we? Yeah. Is that the video we're up to now? Have we got all the videos for everything else other than that?
We lost the previous one because of my.
Was that Mario World? Did we lose that? Is that what we lost? Or did we do that one?
I don't know.
But yeah, this one's on YouTube.
This one's coming. This one's coming.
And you haven't watched us on YouTube as well. You've wasted. You have to do the whole thing again.
This one's definitely coming. And like I was saying, Alex, before, I've managed to set our recording up in a way that hopefully, with a bit of light editing, we'll be able to just get in there. Although I have just noticed. Oh no, it seems to be working. It's absolutely fine. I thought I was like, it's.
When did he say "Holy cow"?
I've got absolutely no idea. When he was
I
Bart
thought that
Simpson.
was a price sticker the first time I held that up to you.
Last time he was Bart Simpson, I think he said it. Well, that's Don't Have a Cow, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
But anyway, that has been episode... We are...
He's our age, that bloke. It's mental, isn't it?
Yeah. That has been episode 26, I remembered, I got it right, of the Resurrected A Winner's You podcast. I've been David, he has been Alex, we have been A Winner's You, and I'm out.
Keep gaming and watch AEW Full Gear. Bye.
What the fuck is AEW Full Gear?